Hey folks, welcome back to today's edition of NDD. I'm Pete Mulroy, and I mentioned at the close of yesterday that I wanted to just give my thoughts on the first AP poll that was released, the AP Top 25, slotting sixth in the initial rankings after landing fifth in the first coaches poll. Notre Dame finds itself in prime position for the season. We knew that before either poll was released, that the Irish would be comfortably top 10, maybe even top 5, and in the coaches poll they were top 5 at fifth. Now, the perceived negative here, if you really invest in this sort of thing, is that Notre Dame ended last season second in the AP poll and have since dropped 4 spots. But we've seen that happen before. Heading into a new season, there are always unknowns, regardless of the success or failures or somewhere in between you had the year prior. While I do understand the significance of these polls from an influence perspective, really as it pertains to media coverage and selection process in part for the college football playoff, it really doesn't mean all that much, right? Until the pads are put on and the games are underway. For teams like the Irish and Oregon Ducks, slotting below the top 5 in the AP poll probably has a decent amount to do with the uncertainty at quarterback. As we've discussed related to the Irish, and I'll do the same thing a little bit more today. Now, if you're asking me straight up, if I think teams like Texas, who came number 1, Penn State number 2, and Clemson number 4, for example, are absolutely better than Notre Dame, at least right now, based on what we know, I'd say no. The Irish depth is off the charts, and the talent from top to bottom that they're going to display on Saturdays this fall is the best it's been in a decade plus, certainly the best it's been in now going into Marcus Freeman's 4th year at the helm. And while I know it all comes down to W's and L's, I have a tough time believing the Irish aren't at least worthy of landing inside that top 5 for whatever that's worth. Take care of business when the season's open August 31 against Miami, who came in at number 10 in the AP poll, and the Gold and Blue are going to vault up in the rankings. It's pretty much that simple. I suppose it's good for the media, for conversation, prognostication, all that, where you think one team is in relative to another team or teams. So Notre Dame 6th in that first AP poll, as I said yesterday, and we know from last week that they were 5th in the first coaches poll. And I told you yesterday, and you could have read between the tea leaves, spotlight player yesterday, CJ Carr. Today, not accidentally, Kenny Mincchi, 6'2", 210-pounder from Hendersonville, Tennessee, originally committed to play for Pitt before switching to Notre Dame. And he was one of the top 15 quarterbacks in the 23 recruiting class, threw for over 5,000 yards and 53 scores, a completion rate north of 65% at Pope John Paul II Prep in Henderson. Made his collegiate debut for Notre Dame in the 2023 win over Tennessee State. 2 passes complete for 12 yards. Had a rushing touchdown last season in the beatdown at Purdue. And again, as we've been saying, he finds himself locked into what is the definition of a true quarterback battle with CJ Carr for that starting role in South Bend. Known for having a strong arm, quick release, and an incredible ability to make throws while on the move, Mincchi's skill set really does stand out when you watch him play. Making plays as both a passer and a runner, traits we saw in April's blue-gold game. He supports that with an undeniable mental toughness, which I love, and true leadership qualities that blossomed in high school and now even into Notre Dame. These are traits that align with any program, especially a place like the University of Notre Dame, as we all know. So when you talk about those expectations, as we have been, when I went through the portal guys, when I went through the true freshmen, and now some of the more impactful players we expect heading into the 25-26 campaign, for all the reasons above and on previous episodes, so go back and watch those when you have a couple minutes, Kenny Mincchi can win the starting quarterback job at Notre Dame. Folks, he's that good. There's not much more to it. Weeks ago, some of you laughed, actually, and I'm not taking that personally. I'm saying when I said there was much more than just a slim chance, as even Marcus Freeman, when speaking with the media, appeared to give different on-field scenarios and examples where he used Kenny Mincchi as his quarterback. So I wasn't just pulling that out of a random hat. It wasn't a random draw. I don't do that. I don't ever do that in coming on a whatever platform I'm hosting a show, be it TV, radio, or streaming like this. And while we're at it, and this is certainly nothing against CJ Carr, but I never really understood why such a large contingent of people, including different members of the media, were so quick to anoint CJ Carr the starting quarterback. I get the talent. I broke it down yesterday. It's undeniable. But to almost sidestep Mincchi's ability, to me at least, is absurd. And I'm not saying it was widespread done in that capacity, but there were some who seemed to just sidestep, oh, it's CJ Carr's job, we're done, why even bother? It's not the case. Marcus Freeman went out and poached Mincchi, one of the top quarterback recruits in the 2023 class from the University of Pittsburgh, basically in the 11th hour, and brought him to South Bend to be the quarterback of the future. That's a fact. Now, the Irish then hit another recruiting home run the following year with CJ Carr, so here we are with the battle. It's a good problem, if you will, to have as it creates competition. And regardless of some of the nonsense you might hear elsewhere, the words coming out of camp are not a smokescreen. It's a legitimate quarterback battle, and one Kenny Mincchi can win. Was CJ Carr the favorite entering camp? Sure, I'll get on board with that. But after both put together nice spring games, and they did, with Mincchi showcasing his passing skills and mobility, while CJ Carr made some damn good throws in his own right, we had ourselves a legitimate competition, and we still do. Now, the goal is to find your QB1 with at least 2 weeks' worth of reps remaining prior to the opener against Miami. We've been talking about that. It's well documented. And while there will be a role for both Mincchi and Carr, particularly as Freeman and Mike Denbrock have been open to the idea of getting creative on that side of the ball, the Irish need a clear-cut starter. Okay, let's not mince words. The Irish need to identify its QB1. From a Kenny Mincchi perspective, he's got the arm strength, vision, IQ, leadership, and overall athleticism to run this Irish offense at an incredibly high level. He's got a reputation for smart decision-making in the pocket, so the ability to command an offense is undeniable. And as I wrap this segment, because I don't want to just drone on and bore you, I'll say it. Do not act at all surprised if Kenny Mincchi is the starting quarterback come August 31st. Overall, here's how I approach the entire thing. If the Irish come out and say something to the tune of CJ Carr will be the starting quarterback when Notre Dame opens its season August 31st against Miami, my response will be awesome. If the report is that Kenny Mincchi is going to be the starter August 31st against Miami, my response will be awesome. I think Notre Dame has two high-quality quarterbacks on its roster. One's capable of moving the ball downfield and putting points on the board. For me, if you're asking me, because I know that there's been some back and forth lately with who potentially I prefer, if we can use that term, I do favor Kenny Mincchi. I've been fairly open about that. In part because he does have more experience in Mike Denbrock's system. That point should not be undersold. CJ Carr missed a good amount of time last year. Regardless, we'll see very soon who gets the nod in Coral Gables. That's a fact. You want that at least 2 weeks prep to get first team reps and get the offense juicing a little bit. But from that idea of being ready to roll and more comfortable perhaps and knowing the playbook a bit better, add in all of the talent and skills that both of these guys possess, I suppose that lately you've started to figure out that I do have a lean towards Kenny Mincchi. I do think it is beyond possible, and I think we're starting to get some of those developments that this is not just, okay, it's going to be CJ Carr, open the book, shut it, we're done reading. That's not the case. Up to me, from what you see, both great athletes, both great quarterbacks. Kenny Mincchi's got a little more experience in Denbrock's system. I think that factors in a big way. We're going to find out one way or the other, and I know we're all chomping at the bit, and the season starts in less than 3 weeks, so we're going to get some news, potentially, this week. And let's just wrap with some more good news. Preseason award list concerning Irish junior linebacker Drake Bowen and sophomore corner Leonard Moore. But talking about these fine young men for all the right reasons the past couple of weeks, both recently named to the 25 Chuck Bednarik Award watch list. That's the award given annually to the most outstanding defensive player in college football. Bowen gets this preseason honor shortly after being named to both the Nagurski Trophy and Butkus Award list last week and the week prior. Moore, who landed on the Walter Camp preseason list and was a preseason All-America by multiple publications, adds yet another honor to his growing list of achievements. Now, we'll see both players will look to become just the second player, actually, in Notre Dame football history to win the Bednarik Award. Manti Te'o, who was named the winner in 2012, is the only player in Notre Dame football history to win the prestigious award. So, big show today, energy. I know we talked about the quarterbacks the last couple of days. We'll get into the running back room. We know what we have back there. Unfortunately, the absence of Kedron Young this season with a season-ending injury last week. But the Irish room remains stacked and I'll start to break that down a bit more. And some of the guys that maybe you don't know all that much about. That's what I'm here for. I like to bring you some insight, my opinions on certain things, and have that back and forth with all of you men and women in the comment section. I continue to appreciate the support and subscribership everybody does at Notre Dame Daily and Fan Arch. Have a great rest of your day. I'll see you all tomorrow, and you know it by now, as always, go Irish.